our schools.
Disprove one thing I've said.
And then you go, do you hate choice? What does that have to do with what I'm saying?
I asked the question, Hasan. I didn't say you hate choice. I said, are you for school choice?
I said, do you hate choice?
School choice.
Okay. Do you hate school choice?
Do you support school choice?
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous question because you.
No, it's actually Florida implemented school choice and went from 25th ranked in education to second ranked in education in the country. School choice works and it helps the least of these.
You're doing it again.
Which I know
You're
you care
literally
about.
like a politician, nonstop with talking points.
You mean saying facts?
But I gave you the answer.
Bother you, Hasan? Does evidence bother you?
Wait.
Numbers bother you?
No. Hold on, Charlie. Let's get back to reality for just a brief moment, okay?
Let's leave
the conservative sphere for a second and get back to reality. You make false assertions nonstop.
Name
like, for example, the fact that Democratic policies are the reason why Oklahoma's school system has failed when there's literally in certain districts, there's schools for 4 days. Like, what are you talking about? It's a consequence of underfunding these school systems, and that is inherently anti-socialist. If liberals are doing it, then they're also anti-socialist, and therefore they are wrong as well. And that's something that I want to talk about here. Look, this is why I came in and said, right now, the biggest problem in our country, from my perspective, is the fact that we don't look at socialism as if it's something that could potentially help us, but because of years and years of propaganda, and also very, very talented mouthpieces like Charlie here, and I will admit, he's very good at disseminating conservative agitprop. Okay, because of that, and because of the lack of supposedly inside of our liberal institutions, the lack of education surrounding Marxist theory only at the highest levels, that people genuinely assume that socialism is a bad thing and not necessarily something that can help us, something that can save us. These are popular policies, you guys. You guys are advocating against your own best interests. You're advocating against your own well-being. When you talk about free market principles, you're essentially saying, look, it's fine if private companies can do whatever they want because private corporations are essentially privatizing tyranny, okay? They are unelectable, they are unaccountable, and this mythological free market understanding hasn't saved you at all.
Use some evidence so then we can have a discussion about it.
I mean, look around, dude. I already gave you...
I look around and I see a lot of Trump supporters. Great. Go Trump.
Okay, no, that's great.
I mean,
your example of evidence is the fact that there are Trump supporters in the room at Politicon.
I used
very
evidence.
Good.
Okay, so for example, evidence. Chicago has not had a Republican mayor since 1931. Evidence. Atlanta has not had a Republican mayor in 120 years.
Stop looking at this from partisan perspectives. I don't care about the Democratic Party.
But here's the point: is that your ideas have been put in referendum.
Your failure to see that I'm not. I also don't like liberals.
I allowed you to get through your diatribe. Allow me to finish.
Actually, that's the perfect transition to the next topic here.
Hey, we have a moderator.
So. Couple things here. First of all, I love these guys.
I knew you were here.
First of all, this is one of the most entertaining conversations I've seen in a long time.
Next year, we won't need a moderator.
Second of all, you guys are very talented because you've touched on nearly all of the topics I wanted to touch on. Third, you've touched on actually what you ended on here is an interesting theme that actually cuts across the political divide, and that is that young people across the board are extremely skeptical of institutions. They are skeptical of both the Democratic and Republican parties. A plurality of millennials today identify as independent. So I want to get your take on this because I think it has a huge impact on the policy choices we decide. And I heard from both of you, when you mention Democratic policies, Hasan would say that I'm not a Democrat, and I do even criticize a lot of liberal policies, and vice versa. So let me actually start with Hasan on this.
For the record, just before we even get started, I didn't say I'm not a Democrat. I said I criticize Democrats because I'm not a partisan hack. Okay. If someone's policy choices, for example, like school voucher systems and whatnot, are inherently bad from a morality perspective, then I don't appreciate that. I'm going to criticize it. That's all I was saying.
Right, but you said.
So, all this verbal diarrhea is coming from Hasan Piker, the wannabe socialist, Marxist, communist, not really sure. First he says he's not a Democrat. He says, oh, I'm not a Democrat. I'm just against those policies, for example. And he talks one about inherently immoral school vouchers. So giving students or giving parents a choice to send their kids to the best schools in the area, regardless of what they are, they get a voucher, they get to spend it. That's inherently more immoral. But sending your kids to schools where there's shootings, where there's stabbings, where there's bullying, where there's beatings, where there's absolutely no control at all over the kids. It's like a freaking war zone. That's moral. This is coming from a multimillionaire who's made a ton of money, and I don't begrudge him the fact at all. He's huge on Twitch. He's either one of the top Twitch streamers or the top Twitch streamer. Made tons of money. Great. It's easy to talk about socialism working and Marxism and communism working when you're going to be at the top of the food chain, top of the pyramid, regardless of what structure is put in place in the country or the place that you reside in. You think that's going to do, and this is a guy that's on, when he's talking on his streams, talking about eating $100 a plate sushi or $100 a pound sushi. Is that what the average person in his audience is able to afford? That's like when all these guys talk about paying their taxes and all these billionaires say, yes, we need to pay. Yeah, we all need to pay more. We need to pay more taxes. Look, no one's saying you got to pay just what you owe. Why is it that Warren Buffett, why is it that Bill Gates, why is it that all of these huge multi-billionaires and millionaires, why are we hiring lawyers, tax attorneys, spending huge amounts of money, corporations spending millions of dollars on attorney to try to squeeze out every single dollar that they can keep instead of sending it where? To the United States government, to the Treasury for tax purposes. You hear all the liberals and Democrats always complaining about what? Amazon, multi-billion-dollar company, Exxon, these guys don't pay their fair share. They paid zero in taxes or they get subsidies or whatever. Well, those are the laws. That's the way they were written. Call them loopholes. Call them whatever you want to do. But Hasan is being very, very disingenuous about that. As I said before, he's a guy, the top 0.5%. God bless him for all of that. But basically, you can sit up there and go, yeah, that's pretty good. Hasan Piker, man, he's virtue signaling. It's all virtue signaling. Anyways, we're going to get back to the debate. You're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nasir, and this is what we had on tap for you today, folks. Another segment of Hasan Piker debating Charlie Kirk. We're going to get to the rest of the debate right now.
I don't have to defend the Democratic Party, and I certainly will not defend the Republican Party. That's all I wanted to point out. I will still probably vote Democrat in the end of the day because I believe in easing the burden placed upon the proletariat, and that is why I will vote Democrat, and I'll tell people to do that as well.
So let me ask.
Did he say the proletariat?
Are you triggered by a word? Like, what do you mean?
So okay, Hasan.
Proletariat, an inherently bad word, guys. It means the working class.
No, yeah, I got that. Just ask how that worked out in Stalinist Russia, fighting for the working class.
Only place where there's ever been the proletariat. No one has ever
like
worked
Mao's
anywhere.
China or, Vietnam or Cuba or Zimbabwe or all the 100 other times we tried communism in the last 100 years. Bourgeoisie.
That's not what I'm advocating for. Do you understand the difference between Stalinism and Leninism and Marxist theory in general? There are different variations. What you're doing right now is taking advantage of a lack of education surrounding leftist ideology, and it's really disgusting. Instead, sit and understand what the hell I'm talking about. I don't care about state assertion of power, okay? I don't care about authoritarianism. Obviously, I'm not an authoritarian. I don't like our current almost proto-fascist government right now.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Can I say?
Go ahead.
So here's something, Hasan, just so the audience can distill this. I don't trust the government. Therefore, why make the government bigger? Hasan says he doesn't trust the government, and he wants to make government bigger. He says, the government is... This is Hasan. The government is largely bought by lobby...
literally doing this is Hasan right now? Do you think you sound intelligent?
Can I summarize what you're saying?
Okay, go ahead.
He agreed that lobbyists have too much access to this government.
I don't know if you caught that, folks, but Hasan Piker just walked into his own wall of stupidity. His idiocy, his moronicity, his retardedness. Don't know if you caught it, But he said, oh, are we going to be doing this? That this is Hasan? Do you really sound intelligent right now? Of course he's not sounding intelligent right now because he's talking about you, Hasan Piker. That's why he's not sounding intelligent. He's basically regurgitating the points that you were putting out there and pointing out to the crowd that this is Hasan, who actually is not sounding intelligent. So there. Anyways, let's continue and let's listen to that one more time.
I make the government bigger. Hasan says he
Make the
doesn't trust
government
the government
accountable.
and he wants to make government bigger. He says,
No.
oh, the government is, this is Hasan. The government is largely bought
Are
by
you
lobby.
literally doing a "this is Hasan" right now?
Can I-
Do you think you sound intelligent?
Can I summarize what you're saying?
Okay, go
He
ahead.
agreed that lobbyists have too much access to this government. You want to make that government bigger, stronger, more powerful. I want to make that government smaller, more accountable to the
Yeah.
citizens. That's a huge difference between conservatives and progressives.
I love that, like, look, are we going to have an actual intelligent conversation surrounding this? Because more government doesn't.
You can't have an actual intelligent conversation with someone who basically is simmer, stupid, idiotic, moronic, retarded. I mean, I really thought that Hasan was going to come with some of the receipts. But you know what? He hasn't even been shopping, let alone getting receipts.
Doesn't necessarily always mean more bad government. It's not like I'm advocating for corruption here. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you want to talk about corruption, let's talk about lobbying. Let's talk about lobbying. Let's talk about how money is speech, like how we fund politicians. Let's talk about the fact that politicians spend 70% of their time raising funds for their next campaign. I don't like that system. I advocate
Hasan, I
against
agree
it.
with
Do
you.
you, do you, so
No,
you
I
don't
don't.
want, you want to reform campaign finance laws and give me specific examples of how you want to do that?
Happy
Because
to.
I don't think Foster Freeze,
Happy
who's one
to.
of your donors, is going to be very happy when he finds out you're talking out of turn.
And I'm sure that the Democrat teacher unions are going to be pretty upset when you start talking about putting caps on Citizens United. Myth number one, that somehow only Republicans and conservatives benefited from Citizens United.
I don't care
the
what they
Democrat
think.
labor
It's
unions
me.
were
I'm
the
talking to
biggest
you right now.
beneficiaries
There are
from
plenty of
Citizens
libertarians
United.
who feel
Hillary
who feel
Clinton
the same
outspent
way.
Trump 2-1, so don't give me
Yeah.
the idea that somehow
No,
it's only
I know.
Republicans and only...
Yeah.
Let me to finish. Hasan.
You know me,
Hasan, I
notoriously
can keep
not
interrupting you.
anti-Hillary.
We can
You're
talk
right.
over each other.
Charlie, I
Interrupt-
want to hear your solutions on
fuck?
campaign finance. Yeah.
Let me go back to something you said earlier.
Okay, but like, dude, you can't paint like Democrats do this, Republicans do this. Ask me what my position.
Lively once again, but just totally one-sided. Love to have your comments, folks. Tell me I'm wrong. Are we watching something different here? Because I get a ton of comments, but they all come from the left. Especially when I'm doing stuff with Sank the Jank of the Young Turks, or Anna Kasparian, anything from TYT, Hasan Piker. It's amazing how many people comment that are leftists, Democrats, basically tell me that I'm full of crap. I know there's going to be a ton of people that are saying that Hasan was absolutely brilliant. That he came up with all of the data points, all of the numbers, everything to back up where socialism, his kind of socialism, his kind of communism, his kind of Marxist theory would actually work someplace. Did I hear that? I didn't hear any of that. I don't know, maybe I missed it in the last 10, 15 minutes. I don't think I did, but if you think I did, I'd love for you guys to point it out. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir, and if you haven't done so already, we've earned a subscription. Even if we haven't, click on it. Folks, anyways, we appreciate you taking time to watch. You know what we want. Like, share, and follow us. Watch for our other video clips above and below. Click on those for more links to videos like this. My final thought is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.